exceptions. Nothing but the facts. Let's get the truth together. We the people. We the voice. We are the news now.
That's right. We, you, everyone in the chat room, everyone watching, signed in, signed out, live on a replay. We the people. I think we're starting to realize, Rich, you shared a couple of good pictures with me today. They're complicit. They're the new conspiracy theorists. Those guys above us. These guys are into all sorts of craziness at the moment. These guys are into all sorts of crazy stories, wild conspiracy, outlandish claims, all sorts of madness. So as you already know, we're going to draw a hotspot and a highlight to that tonight. We're going to go through various different things with you. We've got a good subject that's been brought up various times before, and it's also coming more to light nowadays. So we're going to kind of go through that as slowly and as concisely as possible. But before we do any of that, bro, thank you so much for joining me over there in Tenerife, 007, my awesome co-host, and to all of you in the chat room. Sorry for the slight delay, but we've done well. It is 9:45. We are literally just 15 minutes late, Rich. That's a revelation. Yep. That's a revelation. Yeah. So we'll do one at a time. How about that? Yeah. I'll start. Steve Bailey, how you doing? How you doing?
Spirit level, how you doing, man? You're right.
Tomashino, lovely to see you.
Rachel Pixie, good to see you, darling.
D'Angelo, hello, my darling. Lovely to see you.
Flatball, yo, yo, yo.
Bob, how you doing? Shout out to Bob and Cammy. Bob from GLOBALIST there. Shout out to you, my darling. Thanks for joining us.
What's up, Keith? How you doing, mate?
Awesome. Hasker-son, lovely to see you as well, my darling. Thank you so much for being here, my darling.
Jesse Enns, how you doing, man? I'll be back. Got to go to the store now.
Okay, we'll be here. We'll be here. Ford no more, my darling. Thank you so much for joining us. Great to have you with us. And further down to the bottom, we've got, oh, your turn, Rich. I nearly took your turn there.
Dagon Morningstar, how you doing, man? Good to see you.
Hi, Russell Red. Russell saying hi, everybody. Great to have you with us too.
Amanda Panda, how you doing?
Oh, I've got to go back up the list as well because I've got to go down the list as well. Michael Allen, hello, my darling. Thanks so much for joining us.
Harvey Patchen, mate. Big Doink Bear. Good to see you.
Alfie, Brian, big hugs to you, my darling. Shout out to you. Thanks so much for joining us as well. And
Truth Seeker, good to see you, man.
Don Seymour, hello. Hi, thanks for joining us. Great to have you along with us as well.
Arthur Douglas, I've seen you before. Good to meet you.
And Chris Hayes, long time no see. Thanks so much for joining us. And to anyone else that's joining in the chat room, if we've missed you out, I'm so sorry. Did we get Truth Seeker?
Yeah, we got Truth Seeker.
And did we get Amanda Panda?
We got Amanda Panda.
Did we get Kieran O'Halloran?
No.
Whoa. Sorry, Kieran. Big hugs and kisses to you, my darling. Thank you so much for joining us. The last thing I want to do is miss anybody out. And we will jump back into the chat room again and give you all a shout out. And we definitely want to bring most of your comments into the chat tonight because we're going through quite a lot of things. I'm kind of excited, really. I don't really know where to start. So I'm going to start with, let's talk about, should we leave Miley alone until a little while?
Yeah,
that was so random. Should we leave Miley alone until a little while?
Let's just put Miley in a box.
Should we put Miley in a box? Let's put her in a box. Cool. Okay, so I'm going to take everyone through. Should we just go straight to the main, not the main thing, but the longest thing for us to go through and not like get it out of the way, but get it out of the way, if you know what I mean. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, so there is a subject that a lot of us have been going through. Oh, there's William as well. Lovely to have you as well, darling. Thanks so much for joining us. So there's a subject that I've spoken about on my channel quite a few times. I know that Rich has spoken about it. We've spoken about it on the Really Woke show, and I think quite a few people at Speaker's Corner have spoken about it as well, actually. And it's a subject I'm really interested in. It's a subject I know even Dolly's interested in. Dolly's spoken a lot about it. Everyone's got an opinion on things. And we're going to try and go through some form of hypotheses, I think that's the right terminology for this. It's not something that we really do normally, but this is such a mind-boggling subject, because a lot of this you could say is coincidental, a lot of this you could say is maybe chance. You definitely have an opinion on it, Rich. I know that I've come across some of the people in the chat room before who've most definitely got an opinion on this. So what we'll do is we will jump straight in. I'm gonna talk you through a little bit of the first part of it, and then Rich, you can jump in at any time you want, because there's not very many images to get to until we get to a few scenarios, and then the first thing to show is that video. And then after that, point 14, we've got some images to show people. So I'm just going to go through this first bit. Let's just go through it as it says it, okay? So point number 1, Trump could be one of the greatest actors of all times, a hypothesis. Suppose for a moment that, you know, all the predictions that have been made about it haven't been exactly accurate. Obviously, the narrative is that the NSA and the goodies have asked Trump to run for president, which suggests that they did that maybe more so recently. This hypothesis states that he was groomed probably since birth to play that role. And we thought that some of the points that come up here are really quite interesting, so we want to go through them with you. So what we want you to do is suppose for a moment that this millennia-old cabal had such a tight grip on our reality that the few white hats in the know always knew the plan and knew that it would take generations. Also, for this hypothesis to work, one must accept the idea that the alliance of white hats may not be so white, perhaps maybe a murky beige, possibly with some dark stains in its collective fabric, if you know what I mean. After all, what if to defeat the cabal, one must possibly have had to have known it or rubbed shoulders with it. So to go through this hypothesis, one must come to that conclusion to that thought to begin with. Do you want to add anything in here, Rich? Because I know that you do have opinions on this.
With regard to the last point, I know that one of the people that I came across along my travels over the last 7 years, searching for knowledge, the guy, his testimony was based on the fact that he'd been quite high up in these secret societies, and he was explaining that to get to where he got to, some of the things that he had to do to get there turned his stomach. And
really?
He got to a point where I think he did actually eat a little bit of human flesh or something. He says he ate a little bit of human flesh, or they offered him human flesh and he refused it. He wouldn't eat it. But there were some other things less serious that he was, made to do to prove his dedication, his loyalty, his commitment, and everything. So in order to get into some of these secret societies and stuff, I know it's like with gangs. It's exactly the same as gangs. You have to go and prove yourself to get in the gang. You got to go kill someone or something to get into
something kind of horrendous.
You have to kill someone to get into MS-13.
Nuts.
So, yeah, it makes absolute sense that there are going to be individuals, that have infiltrated their side. Like the good side got infiltrated. Normal people were infiltrated, and now we are where we are now. Well, in order to get back to where we were, or to a new, different future, this side that's in power now has to be infiltrated. And to infiltrate this power, you're going to have to go and prove yourself, because they ain't going to let anybody in. You're going to have to do some pretty sick things.
Rich, let's not forget that. Yeah, let's not forget that Donald Trump graduated from a private military academy in New York. He then went
was a
on to
Jesuit.
Wharton.
The Jesuit academy, wasn't it?
His father, Fred Trump, was a financier of the John Birch Society and a personal friend of Robert Welch. His uncle, John Trump, examined Tesla's work. Is that a coincidence? It's a bit weird. It's a bit looking glass, Rich. It's a bit
We already know that coincidences don't exist, and
of this nature anyway. This is a bit far-fetched for it to be a coincidence.
Jesse Ernst in the chat room knows quite a lot about the looking glass.
Great. Jesse, I saw you mentioning the looking glass as well. It does get curiouser and curiouser. Jesse, any information you can fly out in the chat room, all of you, if any of you have got any dribs and drabs, bits and pieces that you've researched along the way, drop those in the chat room. Let the mods know, and then the mods can drop the links, you know?
Yeah, I think the important thing for everybody is to know that, like, just because somebody's sharing a video, it doesn't necessarily mean that they think that person is right about everything that they say.
No, of course, we've always said we'll defend your right to do what you need to do in that chat room, even if we don't agree on the panel, even if the chat room doesn't agree. Get those links shared.
I've shared content makers who, and I still share and advocate for content makers who I don't agree with everything they say. So you could go and watch their channel, watch a different video from them, and I won't necessarily agree with what they said. But the video that I've shared, or the reason I've shared them, is because they are making some good points elsewhere. Not one of us, not a single one of us has the whole story. We don't know what's going on at all. So all we can do is share everything.
Well said.
And rely on our understanding.
You're right. You are. You're absolutely right. And I think that's coming across in the chat room. Everyone handle everyone with care, point people in the right direction, and it all should be good. So I'm going to go through a couple more points, and then I'm going to show you something. A couple of scenarios here, right? The Trumps, okay? They've got Scottish or German nobility, and thus but already connected to certain societies, right? Or B, they were the new money upstairs in New York and rubbed elbows with those who were, right? In either scenario, one thing's certain: consistency, right? If you listen closely to what we're about to play to you, you can see that he's been saying the same things since the start, since the beginning. It's proper uncanny how consistent his message is and how really consistent those... No, they just haven't, Rich. They really haven't. So I'm going to take you through here. Hold on, let me just share screen. I've got a video on YouTube. Sorry, I should have had that lined up.
I think that's important, because if you look at all the other leaders that we've had, and particularly all the other candidates for leadership that we've had, you'll see that quite often they're not singing from the same hymn sheet.
Yeah.
None of them are singing from the same hymn sheet that they were singing from 30 years ago. But Trump is. He still is.
Yeah. I'm going to pop this up on the screen just now, because really it's just relevant about what you're hearing here. So yeah, if it's all right with you, I'm just going to share the screen now, and I'm just going to pop it up here and go over here. So yeah, check this out. Oh, that's so funny. Sorry.
Play it again, mate.
Yeah.
You are a mover, you are a doer. If you could make America perfect, how would you do it?
Well, I think that America is a country that has tremendous, tremendous potential. I think that, much like the mind, I think that America is using very, very little of its potential. I feel that this country, with the proper leadership, can go on to become what it once was. And I hope, and certainly hope, that it does go on to be what it should be.
What should it be?
Well, it should really be a country that gets the respect of other countries.
Is respect the most important thing in your opinion?
Well, respect can lead to other things. When you get the respect of the other countries, then the other countries tend to do a little bit as you do, and you can create the right attitudes. The Iranian situation is a case in point. That they hold our hostages is just absolutely and totally ridiculous. That this country sits back and allows a country such as Iran to hold our hostages, to my way of thinking, is a horror. And I don't think they'd do it with other countries. I honestly don't think they'd do it with other countries.
Obviously, you're advocating that we should have gone in there with troops, etc., and brought our boys out.
I absolutely feel that, yes. I don't think there's any question. There's no question in my mind. I think right now would be an oil-rich nation, and I believe that we should have done it, and I'm very disappointed that we didn't do it, and I don't think anybody would have held us in abeyance. I don't think anybody would have been angry with us, and we had every right to do it at the time. I think we've lost the opportunity.
For some people, the ultimate goal in life has been becoming the President of the United States. Would you like to be the President of the United States?
I really don't believe I would, Rona, but I would like to see somebody as the president who could do the job, and there are very capable people in this country.
Most people who are capable are not running for office. Most men are frightened of politics today.
It is a shame, isn't it?
Yes.
It is a shame. The most capable people are not necessarily running for political office, and that is a very sad commentary on the country. They had major corporations and they had this and that, but they are not running for political office.
Why wouldn't someone like yourself run for political office? You have all the money that you possibly need. You accomplish a great deal, even though you are only 34. I know there's a lot of things that you possibly can do.
Just going to try and ascertain, is it 1, 2, or all 3? Not showing anything wrong. It's incredible. We're not showing anything wrong. So let's see. I think it's just one of the streams of my doubles channel. Thank you so much to the viewers, because
no longer available.
No, they are. They are. They're just being censored. It's okay. We're on it. We're on it.
This event is no longer available.
On what channel?
My channel.
Yeah, we know. That's what I'm doing now. Don't worry. It's all good. It's all good. So thank you so much to the mods. We're only talking about Tesla, you know. You look, it's insane. It's insane.
I'm not even done. So we'll just carry on.
Don't worry. Okay, we're back up on 3. And if any of our mods, and thank you so much to Levant as well, if any of you could let us know which stream is down so I can rectify it from where I am. Yeah, double stream should be back up. Roxanne's stream is there, and the Really Woke Show stream is there. Before we were rudely interrupted, I had about 2 minutes left of that interview to play. You see, the jury's out on it being AI because we've got 3 streams ongoing.
Yeah.
You know, so on that note, we are going to continue to talk about what we're talking about because it's our channels, and I don't believe that you should be pushed to speak about things on your channel, and then if you don't speak about things on said channel, your channel starts getting flagged up and taken down and stuff. So we are just going to proceed to talk about more pressing things just now, and we'll proceed forward and do that double if that's all right with you. So I will come back to that video in a little bit, but you kind of get the gist of what we're saying regarding that. So stay with me here, all right? Just stay with me here, okay? This is just speculation to just try and make things work with this hypothesis. Remember, we said it was a hypothesis, right? So when we start playing big boy commerce games, we better know our stuff, right? We better know our law. We better know our contacts. We better know our trusts. So if we remember Trump's father's close association with the John Birch Society, remember we mentioned that a couple of minutes ago, think they know the law? Do you reckon they would be constitutionalists, Rich? The John Birch Society? Has anyone in the chat room done any research on the John Birch Society? I'm assuming some of you have. Rich, have you?
No. Do you know what? It's not. No, I've got a mind blank.
Mind blank. Okay, you can help me out then. Yeah? Oops, no.
Yeah, I'm sure that as soon as you start saying that, I'll go, oh, yes.
No worries. Look, I'm going to put it in there for you. And then we will see paste. There we go. So if you could do me a favor, can you read the screen for me? Is that all right?
Read the...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Politico said virtuism is making resurgence, and a number of political analysts from across the spectrum have argued that it shaped the modern conservative movement, and especially the Trump administration.
Right. So with that being said, do we think that Trump was raised in a household rampant with deep discussions in philosophy, freedom, and patriot talk? I wonder what the sound of patriot talk sounds like, Rich. I have a funny feeling it might be the sound of Donald Trump and Q. I could be wrong, but I feel that works for what we're saying here. And remember, guys, it's just a hypothesis. We're not trying to. We're just going down a line of investigation here, if you will. By the time a young Donald Trump, drilled in Ivy League commercial welfare training, begins to form his first concepts of reality, this is the time he's also informed that what we perceive as reality isn't really how it works. He could have been informed about the cabal at that stage, but the Bircher influence was merely the foundation, possibly. It was what his uncle told him that etched his destiny, I think, in stone. What did Uncle John tell young Donald? Shout out to Dolly. Shout out to all the other channels that have spoken about this over the last 24 months. With that being said, I'm going to try and take you to a Q post now with a bit of luck. And I will show you the pictures I'm talking about. Here we go. You ready? Can you see that?
Yeah.
Rich, what is that? I'm being silly. I'm just asking. I'm being silly, just being devil's advocate. Go on.
I was going to say, it's a giant butt plug.
You weren't supposed to say that. Uncle John told him of miraculous things that came from the mind of a miraculous man, a man who tamed electromagnetics and whose genius may be unparalleled to this day. Nikola Tesla. What do you think, Rich?
Yeah, I mean, Tesla has been deliberately put into obscurity. I think the whole Tesla company with Elon Musk was deliberately to eradicate his name, to eradicate the memory of what he did, and so that well, now I'm sure that now if you speak to somebody and say, do you know who Tesla is? And they'll probably turn and go, Tesla isn't somebody, you idiot. Tesla make automobiles. That's probably where we are now already. So I know that his the hotel that he lived in New York, wasn't it, in Manhattan, was its own generator. And I know that they used to sell power to the rest of New York from that hotel. And the hotel, the design in the basement of the hotel is very
Jesse, can you send the video in Skype? Is that okay if you do that, darling? Can you just send it to the Silent Majority chat in Skype so I can pick it up in there? That'd be great, only because it's really difficult for me to get the link from the StreamYard chat room. The one, he's put a link and he said, I think he said, that's all I got for now. I think he popped a link in there, so that'd be great. Abima said, yeah, that's true, Rich. That's true. That is true. So you know, yeah, thank you.
There's
Thank you to
rumours
everyone in
that
the chat room. I love you all. Thank you all for the interactions. And thank you to all of you that are holding the chat down. I really appreciate you all big time. Big hugs.
There's rumours that that hotel is still generating power.
We see.
And also
Curious here and
there's
curious out.
another chap called Quinn Michaels, who I stopped following because he's very eccentric. Without money. So that would make him just crazy. But he's done some really, really solid research. And I've got quite a lot of his videos downloaded onto my hard drive and I need to go through them. Because in one of those videos, he's talking about Las Vegas. Right? Think how much energy, how much power Las Vegas sucks.
Oh my
With all that
goodness.
neon, all that electricity coming through Las Vegas. You think how much it's actually running. How do you think they're producing it? How do you think they're producing it?
Insane. It just,
He's
you know, the mind boggles when you think about how much.
So he's got a theory that there are quantum collider, hadron colliders and all kinds of stuff going on, Tesla coils and all kinds of stuff going on in Las Vegas, and it's its own little power hub, and that's how it's operating, because they've got I think they've got Tesla coils running.
Well, you see, I'm wondering what, and it's not Adam, but I just had to do it anyway. It's not Adam, no. So if it's not Adam, who do you think it could be?
It's got to be Noel, isn't it? Yeah, you play it, isn't it?
Noli.
Hello.
Hey. Noel tuned in from Malta. How you doing, bro?
I'm great. I've had a very lovely day on the beach. Yeah, I cut a bit of it this morning, and Marley's with the mama, so I went out. We've already spoke. I went out for a run and blah blah blah. Nice day. Saw the police going around giving out fines to any groups larger than 3.
Really? Were they like following through with that and doing it?
Oh yeah, they're following through with it because it's cash for them. They love it.
Cheeky. Well, you came in right on time because we're going through Tesla at the moment. I don't know if you've managed to hear any of it before you came in.
Nikola Tesla or Tesla?
Nikola Tesla. No, we're not talking about Elon Tesla. Yeah. We're talking about the original. What is your thoughts on Tesla? Because we've just literally got to the point where we're about to talk. Yeah,
like,
I mean,
legend. What a dude. He's basically the stuff that we're seeing with people now. The sort of, everyone turning against him. He was almost like the original one. I mean, I'm sure it happened before him, but he's like the first time that we know about it happening is just this amazing guy who was just fixing everything and making the world amazing and try to increase everyone's understanding, and then just totally being grappled at every stage.
Yeah, and that's literally where we're at now. The public knows this to be a really sad story. A genius who died penniless, without a home or family in his final days. Tesla certainly looked the part. When I show a picture, which I will do in a second, it looks like
Did you ever see how DC Comics portrayed him? Oh, sorry. Did you ever see how DC Comics portrayed him? The mad scientist archetype?
Yeah.
You see in loads. That's him. Like they basically made him out as a mad scientist. You'll see it in DC Comics, in Marvel. Every time there's a mad scientist and like some superhero has to go against a mad scientist, it was always based on him. He's the mad scientist that they're mocking.
That's such a shame. He looks so gaunt there. Like really gaunt.
If I start eating, I'm gonna end up looking like that.
But I mean, that's what the public knows it to be, right? That's what everyone in the public sees it to be. But despite Tesla's immense gift to industry, first with Edison, then with Westinghouse, then JP Morgan, Rothschilds, they all used his innate kindness and then robbed him of his intellectual property.
Yeah.
Yeah. He still
the
had
Edison
friends.
one, the whole, oh, don't you understand American sense of humor?
Yeah, yeah. And this hypothesis states that, you know, he had white hat friends like John Trump. Why the heck would Tesla confide in someone like John Trump? Why?
Yeah, I'd never heard that. I heard that John Trump acquired his stuff.
Wow. This is where it gets interesting.
Depends where you hear these things. I heard it through sort of a more nefarious reading, like, oh, the Trump stole it, and now Trump's you know, that whole Trump's a time traveler thing. Yeah. But I never looked into it that much.
So I'm thinking maybe we might be able to connect some dots here, right? Who has heard of a Van de Graaff generator from like 1934? Yes. Van de Graaff, yeah?
Yeah, it's one of the things they teach in science.
Yeah.
They bring it out and you put your hand on it.
You're going to talk about the Tesla coil now, right?
Right. So
you'd be Tesla coil, Graaff generator with all those curly locks there now. That
thing above my head, yeah.
The Van de Graaff generator, right? And I'm just going to get this up on the screen just to visually.
It's basically a Tesla coil.
Yeah, basically.
A Tesla coil.
Yeah. What does that remind us of?
That was his one that he was apparently pulling out energy from the ionosphere. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Or he was charging the ionosphere with it.
Yeah. So this here is a Van de Graaff generator from 1934. Yeah.
Yeah.
And to those of you that in the chat room that are following us with this, just keep on following us for a bit, because it's going to get a little bit interesting. For those of you that haven't done any looking into this, just go with us.
Lemon.
Yeah. Did Tesla himself ever talk about Van de Graaff? Yeah. Not only did he talk about Van de Graaff and his generator, but he was also bursting at the seams with excitement. He even wrote an article for the Scientific American around it, right? I've got that here. I'm just going to pop that link in the chat room for you all now. And I'm going to give that into the Skype as well, just so you can all see.
I know that in school, I learned about the Van de Graaff generator, and they never said a dicky bird about Tesla.
There you go. I'm popping that in the Really Woke chat. And I'm popping it into the Silent Majority chat as well. So you've all got that there as well. I'm going to try and give you the source material as I go through. So this here, to me, it's a little bit like shop talk, if you will. But it's all the ergonomics of the Van de Graaff generator shown housed in an aircraft hangar. And it's discussed by Dr. Tesla in the accompanying article that's with that. So that link there is the whole shebang, if you will. And for time reasons, we're going to move forward so that we're not here for like 4.5 hours. So this man, right, Robert Jemison Van de Graaff, made Tesla's big vision a reality. Extreme high voltage with low amperes can deliver wireless electricity to every man, woman, and child on Earth. So what gives?
Forgive me if I'm wrong. Van de Graaff generator uses mechanical motion to create electricity now, so you have to put some physical energy into it, either through some kind of mill or through your own body, and then it produces an electric output. A potential difference. A very high voltage potential difference. Big spark.
The Van de Graaff generator, it generates static electricity.
Right.
So, yeah.
Just like a capacitance. So the way a capacitor works, it stores a charge between two plates. There's a very high voltage between 2 points, and eventually, when it overcomes the resistance of the air in between the two poles, a bolt of lightning will equalize the potential difference. A bolt of lightning, a bolt of charge.
Miniature lightning.
Miniature lightning, yeah. Ickle bicky lightning.
There you go. I'm going to come into the chat room in a second. I'm just going to move on to the next point, and then we can discuss that, and I'll bring the chat room in. So apparently, JP Morgan shut down Wardenclyffe when they realized that Tesla's ultimate plan, i.e. free electricity. But we all know that JP Morgan only owned 19% of his own company at the time. So who owned the other 81%?
Right?
Good job. It was the Rothschilds. Why was Tesla really shut down? It's clear, isn't it? You can't put a meter on
So
free.
yeah, I mean, I'm guessing that's what I mean. Assuming they're just after money, it seems that they're after more than money. But assuming it was just money, you can't put a meter on anything free.
Okay.
You have to be able to pipe it into people's houses somehow. So like water, gas in some countries.
It's not just about the money, man. It's about the control. If you make it
they can't shut it off.
A commodity. You make it a commodity that only you're supplying, that they have to pay for. You don't tell them the secret of how you got it. Then you control.
So that do you know what that reminds me of? That their return to Nicholas Tesla. That reminds me of the icon on the £20 note.
No, get your bloody mind out of that gutter, sunshine.
You know, on the £20 note that everyone's been concerned about it being 5G. What if it's a return to this instead?
Yeah, that is what it looks like on the £20 note.
It looks a lot like that.
People are thinking is 5G, right?
Yeah.
I haven't seen the £20 note, so I can't.
Yeah, there's a lot of videos circulating that says, on the £20 note, it basically says they're going to kill us with 5G. But I'm going, hold on, no. There's a flip side to this. It's not always got to be that.
This is where our perception is important.
Well, apparently you can't put a meter on free, Rich. Yeah, chat room. Apparently you can't meter. You can't you can't.
You can't control it. You cannot control something that's freely available.
Yeah. So
well, I mean, we say that they've almost got a control on water, haven't they? And that's freely available.
Yeah, you might be asking, right? What has any of this got to do with John Trump, though? What's any of this got to do with John Trump? Well, for those of you in the chat room that are going, yeah, I really have no idea where you lot are going with this. Well, who was Van der Graaf's business partner?
No way.
Yes way. John Trump.
No way.
Yeah.
No way, dude.
Check it. They formed the high voltage. No way, dude. Like totally, dude. They formed the High Voltage Engineering Corporation, HVEC, HVEC. Research that rabbit hole. Yeah. Have a little look-see into that rabbit hole. HVEC. Yeah. So I'm gonna share my screen. I can take you here. I'm gonna show you a couple of pictures here. Oh, look at all these little machineries they got in the background. Oh, interesting, huh?
Yeah.
So you heard it, okay?
Well.
Wellsy. Curious, Richard, and curious, I'm telling you.
Bloody Wellsy.
Ginger and cinnamon and nutmeg. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all right. No, just be like, sorry, I'm so sorry. I've got women lined up at my front door. I'm just literally having to tell them I'm live on YouTube just now. Sorry. Lockdown, yet more women. More women. Hello. Sorry, I'm just speaking to yet another woman here.
More women. More problems.
Isn't it? Oh, it's the same gorgeous girly.
Oh,
hey!
It's that same gorgeous girl.
Hey, we recognize that gorgeous face anywhere. Noel's just conveniently gone on mute now. Look, sorry, I know we can't. Poor connection issues. Oh, I love it. You're still hello. Hey.
Hi.
Hi. So, how you doing? Do you fancy a chat? No, I'm joking. Give her all our love, man. That's nice. It's nice to see you not on your own. Do you careful planning on your behalf, buddy? Well, good job.
A little bit jealous. Not because it's a girl, just because you have company, man.
It's Noel, though. What do we expect? It's Noel. I was thinking, is this guy chatting to himself? And then I heard a woman's voice. I was like, ooh, go on.
I've been on my own since lockdown, man.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, Noel's like, sorry, what? Sorry.
No socializing, nothing.
We're actually recording music, kind of, because I'm not allowed to hear.
I loved the way she laughed when he said that. She was like, "Is that what you're saying?" Okay, we're recording music.
I'm just not allowed to hear it because she's shy, so I have to press record, run out the room.
Oh.
So since I'm out here so long, I thought I'll just call into the chat.
Nice.
Oh crap! I completely forgot. I sent you a message because someone asked me to say something funny, but I didn't fully understand it, and I thought I should vet it first in case it was code for something else.
No worries.
What was it I was supposed to say?
Go for it.
This is literally funny to one person in the room. It's very strange. I was supposed to say.
Go on.
Thanks for accepting my request. Fucking okay. Can you say shit on the villa? I have no idea why, but
Good. No, just say
Shit
what you
on the
need to
Villa,
say.
as in
Good.
Aston Villa.
shit on the villa.
Are you talking about Aston Villa? Are you talking about shit on the?
Oh, is
Aston
that
Villa?
what this is about? Oh, I see. Okay, I see.
I
I
don't know.
see. I
I'm
got set up.
guessing. I don't know a lot about.
Uh,
That's the only thing I could imagine that would be about. Shit on the Villa.
it did actually sound a little bit like, yeah. Who are, yeah,
Do you know who?
shout out. No.
It was who added me last night, and I was like, "Do you guys know this guy?" Because just making sure. Weirdos about these days, you never know.
You never know. You just never know. Yeah, no idea. No
I'm not going to
idea.
out him.
Yeah, no worries.
Him on air.
So, right, we are at the whole business partner flex, right? John Trump, okay? The very precursor to space farce. That's right.
Space farce.
The very precursor to space farce. Back to the greatest acting job and subsequent sting operation in history. Badumtis. Interesting side note, HVEC wasn't formed until after Tesla died in 1946, which was 1 year before the official beginning of the CIA in 1947. John, for decades, would be approached by people of all sorts because he could make megavolt beams of ions and electron death rays. What did he do with it?
Did he give it away for free knowledge to the world, or did he make some kind of large hadron-y type thing?
Oh, I suppose that's something that we're still trying to dig on, because I think we could be here all night answering what he did with it. Well, there you go.
Las Vegas.
You just couldn't make this up.
Wasn't that a group of people of a certain origin? Vegas was.
Vegas was a. But I don't know, man. I think the whole story behind Vegas is we need to dig into that in itself. But yeah, no, I was only saying that because of what I was saying about Quinn Michael's theories about
Meyer Lansky or something,
and Tesla coils and stuff in Las Vegas, and that's where they're getting their power. So I wasn't being entirely serious.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing with the chat room. The chat room's having a good laugh right about now. They're having a good giggle.
About the space fast thing, I just want to point out, right? So one of the things about Trump and his tweets is that he makes spelling mistakes, and one of the things that's known is that his spelling mistakes.
Yeah, but even when he says things that sound crazy, Rich.
But they mean something. His
Months later,
mean something, right?
Yeah.
But this is the one spelling mistake. This is the one spelling mistake that he corrected, isn't it?
Thank you.
And he changed the tweet. And I was thinking that maybe because they'd said to him, yeah, that's cool. You make spelling mistakes and stuff. You can just shout things out on Twitter. That's no problem. But nobody said to him, no, but just not the Space Force thing yet. And he went out and put Space Fast, and they went, no, Donald, what are you doing? No, I can't tell him that yet. Change it. Put it.
I'm with you. A lot of people in the chat room resonating as well, Rich. Shout out to you for that one, bro. I think that's pretty much where we are with this, right? You could be here all night thinking about what he's done with that technology, but I think what you've just said is so relevant, because that's where we are with the current president. He mocked it the first time he said it. He said space fast, exploring new horizons. What horizon are you talking about? What horizon are you talking about? And then, do you remember that we were watching? And he said, as he did this, he went, "It's not what you think." What are we talking about? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Exploring new horizons, and then you point up and say, "It's not what you think." He was at a rally at the time. It was either Minneapolis or Mississippi. We were watching it, and I remember how many times we watched it over, and we just went, me, you, and Dolly at the time. We were just like, "What is the finger pointing upwards for? Why would you point your finger upwards and at the very same time say it's not what you think?" He made
then
some massive,
say,
explosive
when
speech, big money, 6 branch.
they say exploring new horizons, and he goes like this, exploring new horizons. Like, we're going that way, not that way. That's not what you think. We're going that way.
Makes sense.
Extraterrestrial.
So, if that's the case, right? What was Tesla working on his final days? Does anyone have any ideas about what Tesla was working on his final days?
Oh man, I do know this.
Muting pigeons into women.
No.
It's very poignant, actually, with the dark, silent war that's being fought just now. There's a clue. There's a clue. Look what is internationally going on just now. It's like a silent war, an invisible war is being fought as we stream this stream internationally. Look at the international situation. Excuse me, before you go upstairs, love. No. Can you come here, please? Sorry, no. The door's got to swing both ways. Honestly. Cheers. That was the negotiation about the cup of tea.
Oh right, yeah. Because she come down and taxed you, didn't she? Did she come down and tax you?
Not even. She come down and sorted herself out some popcorn. No, that's butter popcorn. So anyway, she's wafting that past me, smiling and giving me a wink, like, all right, then I'm off then. I like.
No.
So yeah, I'm getting my cup of tea ordered now. That's great.
Wait to get on that butter popcorn. I can't wait till that gets in. So,
any guesses in the chat room? If you guess, I'm going to pop your guess up on the stream. Lunderground says, ooh, magnetics. Nick GB says, sorry, underneath there, hold on. Frequencies. Ooh, Astro King says death rays. And
if you go CBD flower delivered to your door in these times is a
do you know what? Christopher Lee's, shout out Amanda, because I'm very grateful. My little letterbox went and I was like, what?
Mine doesn't get delivered. I have to run a fucking gauntlet.
Yeah, no gauntlet for the girlies, I don't think, though. I don't think girlies should be doing gauntlets. So shout out to Amanda for that one. I've got to represent there. And I'm going to bring you guys into the chat room. Shout out to the Naikas as well, and to Russell Red, Data Footprint, Sunmal, Alfie Patchin, Peace Loving Warrior, Abimus Maximus as well, and Astro King, Sunmal, Michael Kilpatrick, Lunderground, Alfie Patching, Jesse Enns, and Jonathan Hobbs, Michael Kilpatrick. Crikey, lots of you there. Wow. Thank you all so much. I'm going to John Thinkpad as well. The movie The Prestige shows Tesla working on replication. Of course,
brilliant film. Brilliant film, The Prestige. That's got
Nolan, right?
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale and
Zenith
it's
said
much
energy
better
weapon.
than the other one. Because there was The Prestige and there was The Illusionist. And The Prestige.
Yeah, it came out at the same time.
Yeah, Prestige was so much better.
So everyone's kind of given their 2 cents worth on what they think Tesla was working on his last few days. Conspiracy Cat says, a great movie. Love the twist at the end. You see, love the twist at the end, Rich. What makes a good movie?
What makes a good movie?
Rich?
Good twist at the end, man. We were saying good actors for so long, and we just completely
plot twist at the end that makes a good movie.
We just didn't think the best thing about a movie is a good twist, a good plot twist.
Do you know what? You know what the plot twist will be for the masses. Here's what the plot twist for the masses is going to be. Just after they think, wow, imagine that. Imagine government being clowns and all the show, and imagine this and imagine that, and imagine they lied to us about this and imagine they lied to us about that. And then literally it's probably going to be Philip Schofield. He's probably going to go on This Morning and he's probably going to, hi, welcome to This Morning. So, boy, have we got a plot twist for you. If you thought that was do you remember once upon a time we had a guy called Mark Sargent on? Do you remember turns out it's not a ball.
Do you remember? I did say that with all the crazy stuff going on.
Do you know
there,
that's probably why he said it?
Told us yeah.
Probably why he said it, Rich. Do you remember what Philip Schofield said? Like Rich said, with everything that's going on, I probably wouldn't mind being told that.
It's the first time a mainstream. I keep forgetting I've moved my camera. It's over here now. It's the first time a mainstream TV presenter has actually gone anywhere near to giving it credence.
Look at the magnitude of that plot twist, though. By the way,
I don't think I've
not
seen
on what you were taught.
So Mark Sargent was on this morning.
Yeah, he was on this morning with Holly and Phil. He served them up good and proper.
Did a really good job on that.
Yeah, he did. But can you imagine the plot twist for the masses when they kind of just get told that, like watching, they're all part of the movie, and just as they think, all right, we're approaching the end, everyone lives happily ever after, the plot twist is, oh yeah, by the way, you know, like when Columbo comes back into the room, just as he's about to leave, he turns around and then turns around with the, you know, the be all and end all of the whole conversation. It's almost like that. That's my take on it. But we got stuck on that. I need to show you this. So everyone's given their 2 cents worth. You've given your 2 cents worth as well. I put the question into the chat room just so everyone can familiarize themselves with it. What was Tesla working on his final days, in your opinion? Some people have said, you know, time machine. Some people have said, you know, direct energy. A lot of interactions from you in the chat room. So would you agree that that would be a way to prevent the dominance of any one nation over another using his technology? Do you not think he knew his technology would be weaponized? They pretty much weaponize any piece of technology as it is.
He was afraid of his technology being weaponized. That's why he didn't go and sell it to the government. Why he kept all of his inventions secret in his apartment. That's why they went and raided his apartment afterwards.
What haven't they weaponized though? They've pretty much weaponized every single piece of technology. It's been weaponized in some form, shape, or another. It's a shame. It's a sad fact, but I think it's pretty much accurate. So Tesla set out to devise a strategy that would prevent the use of his technology for nefarious means. Now I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you all what I'm looking at here. With a bit of luck, you will see. Shout out to Amanda Panda there as well.
Shout out to Amanda Panda. People's come in.
So here we've got my dear Mr. Kinteri. I was glad that you did not put the master before Merrick, for I found after careful thought and figuring that it would take much more money to carry out my proposal, which I made to you on the spur of the moment, stimulated by the pleasure of our meeting and your warm response, blah, 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 right? So this says Hotel New Yorker, April 7, 1934. Okay. Underlined here, it says without providing a new implement for attack. Okay, so this is all going through to the fact that he really didn't want it for nefarious use. Tesla's new device, like bolts of Thor, he seeks to patent wireless engine for destroying by pulling a lever. Classic attack in it. Tesla at 78 bears new death beam. Invention powerful enough to destroy 10,000 planes 250 miles away, he asserts. Defensive weapon only. So there's one other example there and another one here of the image. So with that being said, we move on, right? Besides his own personal experience with bankers and patent theft, Tesla knew through his network of other threats to safeguard his technology. It looks like the cabal already had plans. So I'm just going to give you this because with a bit of luck, YouTube will let us go with this one. Hold on, just bear with me, guys and gals. Sorry about these random videos, but they do kind of tie into what we're showing you. So just 1 minute 25, guys. Not very long.
I appeared before the Congressional Committee, the highest representation of the American people, under subpoena to tell what I knew of activities which I believe might lead to an attempt to set up a fascist dictatorship. The plan as outlined to me was to form an organization of veterans, to use as a bluff, or as a club at least, to intimidate the government and break down our democratic institutions. The upshot of the whole thing was that I was supposed to lead an organization of 500,000 men, which would be able to take over the functions of government. I talked with an investigator for this committee who came to me with a subpoena on Sunday, November 18th. He told me they had unearthed evidence linking my name with several such veteran organizations. As it then seemed to me to be getting serious, I felt it was my duty to tell all I knew of such activities to this committee. My main interest in all this is to preserve our democratic institutions. I want to retain the right to vote, the right to speak freely, and the right to write. If we maintain these basic principles, our democracy is safe. No dictatorship can exist with suffrage, freedom of speech, and press.
Thank you for letting me show you that. Really good comment from Jonathan Hobbs. That's a lot of curve for that death beam. That's got to go over, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bit too much curve to go over.
That president was the one that was basically, wasn't it the one that they tried to get to? They tried to coerce him.
Yeah.
That was a president? I don't know who that was. I've never seen it before.
All right. Okay, I'm going to bring you up to speed.
Who is he?
Okay, General Butler bears plot by fascists. So I'm going to...
But yeah, he wasn't a president, was it?
No. I'm just going to go back one.
Oh, no, there is a president. Who's the president that did that? The president, they tried to coerce him into doing something. He came up and said, he came out.
Oh,
and
was it Eisenhower or...
No,
it might have been. Hold on. I'm just going to make sure it's... sorry, Rich. Sorry for having the camera on you like that, bro. I'm so sorry. I'm just trying to get the link for it in the chat room. And I believe... I'm just double check. I'm just going to get the original for it if they can let me get into it. General Butler. So it says here that it's from
excuse me.
Business plot between Smedley, Butler, Franklin D. Roosevelt. So as far as I'm aware, help us out in the chat room. How about that? Then I don't have to say the wrong thing. I can just say, help us out. I've given you all the link in the chat room if you could help us out. Here is where things, though, get a little bit interesting. Some of the early White Hat archives and activities in this international spy game included other geniuses. Geniuses attract other geniuses. And sometimes those geniuses have money and lots and lots and lots of money. Okay. How do you go from the most eligible bachelor in the world one day to the most notorious hermit the next? The guy I'm talking about.
Say the wrong thing.
Yeah. So obviously geniuses have, certain traits about them. Those geniuses possibly may have money. This particular genius had lots and lots of money. Has anyone heard of Howard Hughes?
Yeah.
Okay. So as I said, how do you go from the most eligible bachelor in the world to the most notorious hermit the next day? This is what happens when you go against the cabal. In my opinion, this. And sometimes, when we say past proves future, have a look at this.
Howard Hughes, famous flyer and sportsman, was dragged out of this wreckage of an experimental plane he was testing. He was seriously injured. After ripping the corner from two homes in Beverly Hills, California, the plane finally plunged into this house. The force of the impact virtually wrecked the building and caused the plane to catch fire. The flyer said that the accident was due to motor failure shortly after his takeoff. He
You
failed to
hear all
make a
the
crash
peril
landing on
music in the
golf
background.
course. Dennis O'Keefe, film actor, inspects damage done the home of Lieutenant Colonel Myers, chief interpreter at the Nuremberg war trials. America's aviation trailblazers willingly pay the price in man's conquest of the air.
You know, like, we won't just show you the complicit media of today. We'll show you the complicit media of back in the day as well. You can see how they set it up. You can see clearly how they've set it up for him to just become done for. Unfortunately for Howard and us, he knew too much. Remember, Hughes was the first movie mogul, a playboy with extremely deep pockets. He'd collect aspiring debutantes by the dozen and have them shipped off for acting, singing, and dancing lessons. He spied on all of them, apparently. He'd have them followed, phones tapped, and their boyfriends pre-approved. Hughes was a very ambitious and jealous man. He wasn't really trying to train those young actresses so much as he was trying to keep them all for himself. He even had female spies for competition. And it was through one of his female spies that he was horrified to find out about the cult. Apparently, she'd gone to an event, the details of which made his stomach turn, sacrifices in Hollywood, and thus begun the highly irregular persona that we have now come to know. Enough on the Hughes for now. His future involvement with the CIA, Glomar, Explorer, RFK, and all the CIA satellites are worrisome. And we know that those satellites aren't what we've been told as well. He did know that the CIA and the FBI were infiltrated, i.e. deep state. Anyway, back to Tesla and Trump. Keep this in mind. Tesla's papers are stored in government vaults for reasons of national security to this very day. But where? What do you think? Likely candidates could be Research Center, Robert J. Oppenheimer, National Security Research Division. Yeah. I will copy and paste those two destinations in the chat to help for digging purposes, like that company that he was a business partner in. So there you go. Take a look at those. And moving along, as this is where the hypothesis gets fun. So I'm going to ask you, do you know who all these fellas are? Let's go. Let's go. Let's play a little game. Should have a little theme tune for this, really, and playing in the background. Anyone? Anyone? Any more for any more? I'm hearing a deathly silence from the panel, so that's absolutely fine.
What was the question?
I mean, that looks like it's about, what, 1910? But
in the picture, they're claiming that's the first car, but hey-ho, we'll never know.
I'm going to say that's 1884.
Okay. Who's the guy on the car? Does anyone know?
Is that John Trump?
Oh, maybe. Those two? Well, we know he's a Rothschild, don't we? We know that face anyway. That guy?
Top Cat. Top Cat. Hold up.
Remember, this is where the hypothesis gets fun. Possibly.
Oh, hang on. Was that Edison? Was that Charles Edison?
Ah, so that's why I'm saying this is where it gets fun. Do we know who these people are? Dave Poole. I've got a Henry Ford in there. As I said, this is where it gets fun. Noli, you're there. Don't worry, you're there.
I saw Edison, Rothschild, and Warburg, I think.
Yeah.
I think so.
Warburg.
I think it was Warburg, but there was one of the guy on the right in the two. I think that might have been Warburg, or Warburg might have been the fat gentleman. No, Morgan was the fat one, so I think that was Warburg on the right.
No worries. How about these ladies?
Uh,
Lips that touch liquor shall not touch ours. Lips that touch liquor shall not touch ours.
I bet the drinking went up.
I mean, I've got to say that looking at the state of the ladies in there, then
Yeah.
I would say that really pretty much most men are going to have a drop or two of liquor before they want it, but they're going to go on with it.
You are cheeky.
They're
Rich.
all
Cheeky.
at least 3 pointers.
You are
3,
very
4 pointers.
cheeky.
I think you're being a little generous, but
My dad would probably say there's not enough bars in Glasgow to sort those ladies out.
Went through the roof.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, not pints of vodka.
She's
3
holding
or
an
4
axe.
pints of vodka.
She's holding an axe.
She is. She is.
I kind of like her now.
Do you know what I
That
mean?
bloody axe. Look, she's like,
You stay away from me with your little wiener. I'll chop it off.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Little matriarch that she is. You
she
gotta
got
love
dreads.
it. It looked
She
like
got
it.
dreadlocks.
It kind of did look a little bit like she had a couple of dreads there. The name of
She
the
was
game here.
Was she a Cherokee? Was she really like a secret one of the Cherokee type?
You never know. We'll come back to that in a minute. I'm gonna leave those pictures embedded into your head. And we're gonna come back to it in a minute because the name of the game here, guys and gals, is energy, right? It's energy. Original internal combustion engine was made to run on alcohol. Yeah.
Yep.
Edison's deep cycle alkaline battery was shelved by his creators. Waste product in the oil refinery is gasoline.
Yeah.
Who funded Prohibition?
Rockefellers?
Yay! Oh, you know, we really woke. We really woke.
I was going
Good.
to say Morgan.
Hey, but it's all right. 1 out of 3 is not bad. No, done
No,
it for
because
both of us.
JP Morgan were a demonized weed, didn't he?
Okay.
Weed demonized, yeah.
Okay. No. So do you know what? It's almost like, hold on. I'm going to show you this. You ready? Ooh.
Charles Pratt.
Yeah. 3,000 shares. No less.
I haven't seen the figure yet. Hang on, where is that printed?
Says it here. 3,000 shares to Charles Pratt. Dated January 18, 1883. As I said, this is where it gets fun. Name of the game here is energy, right? So we're going to move on. Is it at all starting to make sense to you now that if we had the technology to run automobiles on batteries 100 years ago, how many trillions in lost gasoline, kerosene, and diesel cells? Does anyone know how long the Edison battery lasts?
No.
No clue, no.
Apparently, 100 years.
Oh, this is like
Edison's battery lasts 100 years.
Yeah. Lead acid, 5 to 10.
What the heck's going on
Lead
with
acid,
Duracell?
5 to 10.
Well,
what's going on with these
we're definitely in
Duracell
an area of
It's a mug game. There's no profit in that, though, is there? There's no profit. If the thing lasts 100 years...
The technology it is, that would go way outside of currently accepted science.
Right. Exactly. Look at
that were to be the case. Look, that's standard.
It's an electric car.
That was lead acid, was it?
That is an electric car, Rich.
Yeah, electric cars were before petrol cars.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Oh, look at that. 1,000-mile endurance run. Bailey Electric. That's so funny.
That's a little mind-blowing, actually.
We'll come back to that in a minute. What is the life of an Edison battery? He's got a few under there as well. Go on, son. He's got the eye of the tiger. Bless him. Bless him. I mean, Again, it just goes back to 1909, doesn't it? Losing everything in 1909. Because this is prior to that. 1,000-mile endurance run, Bailey Electric, new Edison storage battery. You've got a little reg under there saying Bailey Electric as well. Bless them. Proud bunch. He's got a serious face. This guy here, he just looks casual with it. Look at the leather seat in the background. He's holding one of the batteries in his hand.
What do you need? What can I do this for?
He looks like the actor of the Waltons.
The key points of this: 1, the Rothschilds shut down the Wyden Cliff because they could not meter it. The Wyden Cliff was not free energy. It was free distribution of it. The Rockefellers shut down alcohol and electric battery so that they could profit. How about an invention? How about an invention that need neither gasoline nor batteries?
What about an invention that ran on water? That would be good.
Does anyone know about the Pierce arrow of 1934?
The what?
Let's see if I can get it up now. Hold on.
The Pierce arrow.
Yeah. Hold on.
Oh, I'm hungry as fuck.
Got the munchies, have you?
No, I've been trying to eat less because I've definitely put on weight, but it's not going very well.
Dude,
just trying to see
what you've got to do rather than eat less is just do more sit-ups.
That's not removing any weight. I'm just putting on muscle, but I'm not getting rid of fat because I'm not doing my usual sort of 10 to 15k of walking / running every day.
Yeah, me too, man. Yeah, bummer. 20k normally I do.
So Marley's school is 2 miles away. I walk there with her at 7:30 in the morning, run back, or
Walk
sometimes
back.
I run there.
So
that's 4 miles. And then I go back again at lunchtime to pick her up, so that's 8 miles. And then there's whatever I do in between and at home, and I have to take her out to the park, wherever else. So, for fuck's sake,
right, I'm going to show you guys this. I'm going to show you guys this now. And tell me if you've had a dig on this before, guys and girls. This here, the 1934 Pierce arrow.
Never heard of that.
Cool. So try and remember that. Go and dig on that, guys and gals. And I will give you some more information on that now. So
Pierce, never heard of that car company.
Yeah. Is it possible that Tesla discovered 0-point energy? Did he, as was...
I mean, if anyone did, it would be him.
...invent an energy converter? If you believe the first-hand testimonies of his nephew, Tesla drove converted car at speeds of up to 90 miles an hour. Zero noise for hours. I'm going to show you something now that you may have seen before or you may not. Just a quick sketch there. It says the art of transmitting electrical energy through the natural mediums. And there's witness signatures there and all sorts. The mind boggles. This is patented in November the 5th, 1901. Again, before we lost everything. That's why my ears have pricked up. I've gone, the dateline of this, you couldn't make it up. You couldn't make it up. Which is why I thought it was worthwhile bringing to everyone's attention. Now, be it that it's 11 o'clock, we're really not going to have time to go through all of this tonight. I'm not even actually halfway through it. I thought I would have got through this a lot quicker. Speed reading quietly. It took me about 15 minutes. No. And what's really sad about this is I've still got about 10, 15 more.
This is standard every single day. Every day we have about 10 to 15 tabs that we haven't gone through.
I'm literally, do you know,
Just
we're
like,
on the
you're like
second
one of those people. You're like one of those people that turns up at the buffet, right, and loads up 2 plates worth of food and gets back potatoes.
If it's any consolation, I do feel bad that I'm only on the
Don't
second
feel
tab
bad.
and I've still got the rest of
Better
this.
to have too much than too little, babe. It's much better to have too much than too little. You imagine if we ran out of stuff and then we were
I know some women who
yeah,
disagree.
what are we up to today? We'd end up sounding like all those other bloody streams.
Well, I'm glad Jesse said that and a few other people. We could be on this subject for weeks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause that part of the subject there and we're going to come back to this tomorrow night and maybe spend half an hour and we'll go through it all until I'm done. Honestly, though, I'm at point 43 and even at 163, we're not even done. So I wasn't even being realistic. So my apologies. Go on. No, you're right.
I was going to make a joke about you being 43.
You what?
You said I'm 43. I heard you say I'm 43.
Did I? Sorry about that.
Sorry. We're talking about something else. I didn't bother saying anything because it wouldn't have been funny, but now you brought it up, and so I had to say it.
Tell us again, Rich.
Right, does everyone, and this is just a little bit trivial, but I just wanted to say it because I don't like them because of what they've done. And I just thought it'd be a kind of good reason for me to bring them up because they're despicable people. And this kind of behavior really needs to be, you know, magnified. And some of you might not appreciate me doing this. And some of you might go, Rox, how can you go from that to that? What are you doing? Are you on a mad one? But no, I'm not on a mad one. It happened in Scotland and it's happened in America. And I'm wondering if it's going to happen in the UK or any other country, right? But someone on Nicola Sturgeon's team was told to resign because she tried to, like, do you remember when she tried to go to her other holiday home? Her second home?
Oh, yeah. I mean, God, it's not just her, is it? You've seen Obama's been playing bloody golf on his golf course.
I'm glad you mentioned that because that's where we're going next. I just want to show you all this because this is a joke. It's an absolute joke.
It is a piss take, man.
It is. Check
Makes
this.
yeah. Try not to get too angry. Let the anger go. Just
Hi,
let
this
the
is
anger
Michelle
go.
Obama. Remember, we urge you to stay home except if you need essential health care, essential food or supplies, or to go to your essential job. Thank you. And please stay home, DC. Hi, this is Michelle Obama. Remember, we urge you to stay home except if you need essential health care, essential food or supplies, or to go to your essential job. Thank you.
Yeah, I just thought I'd play it twice just in case no one clocked that was Michelle. It wasn't some reporter. That was the voice recording of Michelle saying
Michael.
Big Mike.
Don't you love it? Don't you just love it? Don't you love hypocrisy, man? Don't you just love
it's too much.
hypocrisy?
It's too much. The
And
hypocrisy.
it's not just him. It's not just him. It's not just him. It's not just her. It's not, they're all bloody doing.
Yeah. And for my international viewers, we are following the General Flynn story as well. There's been a few developments with that as well. Obviously, it is breaking. The truth's not going to be able to be stopped. And this guy, he's going to talk whether people like it or not. Hey, are we Mel's friend? Hey, how you doing? Oh, she looks so vibe. I want vibes. I want Maltese vibes up in here.
I want to hear her sing.
I just like the way she started dancing there with no music. I just love the way she was just bubbling. But yeah. See, girl after my own heart. Girl after my own heart.
Shy.
Oh, bless her. Bless her. So
it makes her even more cute, man.
You know, she's a little sweetie. She's
I don't know.
Get rid of those links. And here we go. All right, now I've got the links back. Okay, coolio. Right, so we're gonna play a little something for you, but it looks like Flynn was entrapped, but this Flynn situation has tentacles that far reach out to other situations that are also turning around at the same time. So we really wanted to bring this to everyone's attention because it's worthwhile. So just go with us for a couple of minutes as we show you these two videos. Whoa, yep.
Attorneys for former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn releasing FBI documents they say show the feds set him up to lie before questioning him about his contacts with a Russian ambassador. Now, President Trump calling it a disgrace.
They were trying to force him into a position where we can get him on a lie, or can we get him this way or that way? This is terrible.
Sealed documents reveal top officials considered getting the president's former national security advisor to lie about his contacts with Russia's ambassador so that he could either be indicted or fired. David Spunt is in Alexandria, Virginia with an update. David?
Dana, these notes are just 4 pages long. They pack quite a punch. They're from January 24th, 2017, just 4 days after President Trump moved into the Oval Office. It's some of the highest officials in the FBI talking about getting Flynn to tell the truth or lie, to talk about, as you said, get fired or possibly even be prosecuted. Now, Michael Flynn, the former national security advisor in early 2017, has been in legal limbo since 2017. He wants his entire case thrown out right now. I want to read some of these notes for you. The final page of the document is handwritten by former FBI head of counterintelligence Bill Priestap. Several sources telling Fox News this right here. He writes, quote, "What's our goal? Truth admission or to get him to lie so we can prosecute him or get him fired." Another part of that chunk says, Dana, if we're seen as playing games, WH White House will be furious. Protect our institution by not playing games. There's been a lot of question about President Trump. He's very close with Michael Flynn. Will he pardon him, especially during an election year? Well, he was asked that very question just a couple of hours ago in the Oval Office. Listen.
I hear there's a lot of other stuff coming out if I believe everything I'm reading, because I like to stay out of it. I don't have to stay out of it at all, but I like to stay out of it.
Maybe staying out of a pardon, but certainly not the topic. He's been tweeting and retweeting about it several times yesterday and today. Dana, this is all an effort by Attorney General Bill Barr to re-examine the Flynn case. That's why these documents were made public. We are told by officials at the Department of Justice to expect more documents anytime.
Here's the interview.
Mr. President, can we ask you about General Flynn?
Yeah.
Are you going to pardon him? This is what you tweeted back in December 2017. I had to fire General Flynn because he lied to the Vice President and the FBI. Yeah. Do you still believe that he lied to the Vice President and the FBI?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, sure. When I looked at what they did to him, they tormented him. Dirty cops tormented General Flynn. General Flynn is a fine man, 35 years or so in the military. You don't get to be where he is by being bad, that I can tell you. And then he, right at the beginning of the administration, the dirty cops came in. And you see the notes, Jim. I mean, whether you're on our side, that side, whatever. I mean, I assume, let's all talk about fairness. What they did to General Flynn, and by the way, to Roger Stone and to others, was a disaster and a disgrace. And it should never be allowed to happen in this country again. And what I really hoped, because CNN tormented him, in all fairness, I really hope to see, because they haven't been doing it, and I appreciate your question, I hope to see that CNN will not even apologize, which they should, but just cover it fairly, because he's in the process of being exonerated. If you look at those notes from yesterday, that was total exoneration. These were dirty, filthy cops at the top of the FBI, and you know the names better than I do, and they were dishonest people. Now we have to see what's going to happen. But General Flynn was treated like nobody should, and I'm not talking about generals, I'm saying like nobody in this country should be treated. So and they did it right at the beginning. They did it right, Jim, they did it right. Well, look at what they did to the guy. I mean, he couldn't have known too much what was happening. They came at him with 15 buses, and he's standing in the middle of a highway. What they did to this man, they tormented him. They destroyed him. But he's going to come back, like I say, he's going to come back bigger and better. But what they did to him, and I hear there's a lot of other stuff coming out if I believe everything I'm reading, because I like to stay out of it. I don't have to stay out of it at all, but I like to stay out of it. And Jim, what they did to him is terrible. And I hope that CNN is going to give him a fair shake and cover it, because I think it's very important. Yep.
So just to follow up on, was it a mistake to fire him? Would you bring him back on?
Well, what I wish I had.
I'm on mute. Great. So none of this right now might seem very relevant to you. Some of you may be saying to yourself, why am I looking at this guy talking about who's General Flynn in the bigger scheme of things? This has got nothing to do with the UK. It's got nothing to do with the international situation. But it's got everything to do with the situation. It's not General Flynn's not the reason the international community has been brought to a standstill, but it's a very big reason in what's going on over the next few weeks. They want everyone looking here, not there. There's only so much we can say about the Miley and Maxine situation online just now. Obviously, if we get the Adam MEAKIN, we can talk a little bit more. But we'll reserve those subjects for Mr. MEAKIN when we do have him. So there is other bits that we want to talk about regarding this, but we're going to have to leave that section out because it's just going to sound a bit one-sided. So yeah, as I said, right now that may not seem that relevant to everybody, but it is. It's incredibly relevant as we move forward. Also, let me just look at the time. Yes. Also, we have got the Roxy situation. The FDA plans to authorize emergency use of experimental antiviral drug remdesivir for treatment. Just so you all know, remdesivir costs about $1,000 a pill. Just remember that. Just to break everything else away. Remdesivir costs about $1,000 a pill. Roxy costs about 60 cents. We've already gone through this with everybody. Yeah, it's not going to be mandatory. And the costs are stark. It's a difference between night and day. One of them, no one gets any power and control. And the other one, people get power and control and profit. Mad profit. Crazy profit. $1,000 a pill type of profit. What's your say on this? I mean, people have got to have an opinion on this. $1,000 a pill. Why would anyone push something like that when there's already something in place that can handle it?
Hey, you know those tablets you can get for headaches, paracetamol.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you get them for about £2.50 for a pack or something. I've heard about this great new headache tablet. Only costs $1,000 a pill. You know? We don't quite know if it works yet. Obviously paracetamol has been working for a long time. We know that works. We've got this new one that's $1,000 a pill. Might not work. Certainly probably doesn't work as well as paracetamol. Hey.
Okay, so in the meantime, I have something else to show you. I'm working out what order to do things in, right? So I'm going to jump into the chat room because I haven't had an opportunity to say hello to all of you that have been watching and interacting in the chat room. And honestly, no matter what channel you've tuned into, whether it's the Really Woke Show channel, whether it's 007's channel, or whether it's Roxanne the Globalist Denier's channel, we appreciate each and every one of you taking the time to not only tune in, but to also interact in the way that you're doing so in the chat room. The chat room, really, from where I'm sitting, no matter what room you're in, is a lovely place to be. Some chat rooms are busier than others, but on my screen here, I can see all of you, and I appreciate all of those interactions. And I am, whether I'm saying it or not, I am paying attention to you all. Ricardo Montevallo, thank you so much for being here. The Naikas as well, Ninja Man, great to see you as well. D'Angelo, Jesse Enns, and Voynich as well. Lovely to have you along with us, and I'm paying attention to you as well. I did see that, so I thought, you know what, let's just don't have to watch the whole thing. But you got the kind of gist of where I was coming from, and I appreciate that. I really do. Amanda Panda, Maggie Ray as well, my darling. Great to have you along. The Patchings, Alfie Patching, I see you there. Data Footprints, William Beacle, Miss Chime. Lovely to see you as well. Malin V. Lovely to have you along with us too. D'Angelo there as well. And I see 007 in the chat room. Good job, Double. You're in the chat room. Great stuff. And further up the list, we've also got... See, this is how much everyone's interacting. Gotta love that. Seeing the hearts.
I think Al's gone, isn't he? Conspiracy Cats has gone to bed now.
Shout out to Al.
So I'd say
Shout out
it's a
to
big night tomorrow night. Big night
tomorrow night. It's a big night. Thomas as well. Great to have you along with us too. Thank you so much for all of your interactions. Steve Bailey there as well. I see you. Thank you so much for all of your interactions. Mark James.
This is her, is it? It's your friend.
Richie, look at the other way, like we're styling out, like, oh, we're just not even here, like listening. Just, ooh.
He got out of it.
No. This is where she beats Noel up. This is where she just clotheslines him and he comes off camera real quick. Or either that, or does an Alex Ferguson and flies a football boot across the room. Shout out Alex Ferguson for that.
Chat room, what did you think?
Press 1 if you love the sounds of what you just heard, and press 2 if you didn't hear them and want to hear them again. Do you get it? Press 1 if you liked it, and press 2 if you're like, do you know what? I didn't hear that. Go on, play it again. Play it again. Press 1 if you heard those lovely sounds coming.
Good, man.
Noel's on the run. Good. Why does Noel look like he's sprinting through his house right now, trying to save himself? Run for your life, Noel. Run for your life, boy. Love it.
Very shy.
Oh, bless her. No, she sounded lovely. She sounded real lovely. Very nice.
You sounded lovely, though.
Yep.
You sounded lovely.
And lots of smiles in the chat room as well. Lots of smiles in the chat room. So I think your Anon guest might now have her own online following. Yeah. It looks like it's already superseded yours now. You know?
She's hiding in the bathroom.
Thank you so much to where did that go? Thank you, Maggie Ray. Thank you. Thank you. So I will do that. I will have a look at that channel tonight and try and integrate some of that into tomorrow's show, because I've already got like too many tabs lined up for today as it is. Yeah, we're getting ones, Noel. I'm getting a whole heap of ones. Like I'm telling you, she's got her own following. She's got her own following out here. I've got no no's, just none.
No, everyone loves you.
I've even got people not even pressing numbers and just saying straight vibes in. Vibes. Got vibes.
I've been looking for a female vocalist to work with, man.
There you go. So not only is she following, she's also got offers of work already, and that was literally 10 seconds. So she's got it. She's got it. She's got it.
She's got it.
Don't start. There's a song that goes with it. Yeah.
She's my man, and a touch of desire. Yeah, man.
You can tell we're getting into the wokey vibe already, can't you? You can tell. We're getting there. We're getting there. I can see it on the horizon. I see on the horizon. Sorry, don't, because there's literally a song.
What are you doing, Kat? What are you doing?
Cat's trying to size you up from the Cat's like, come on, round
what
2.
What are you doing up there? You're not supposed to be up there. Come down.
Bless. So Melon V as well, Miss Chime, Amanda Panda, Thomas C. Thomas. And who else? Hasker Sun as well.
Nothing but love. Nothing but love.
All love. Who's that? Mag 3K7. Hello, Roxanne and group. Hello, my darling. Not seen that name before. Lovely to see new names as well. Thank you so much for interacting in the chat room and for being here with us. Cheers. And to all of you in the chat room, I'll get back to you after this. We're going to show you something now. Changing gears a little bit. I could go one way or the other here, but I'm still holding out. Possibly MEAKIN might join, possibly not, depending on what his schedule's like today. But I'm going to share the link for this after. yeah, I told you, I said I'll leave Miley till later. Well, later's now, so I can't put it off for much longer. And I want to bring this to everyone's attention. So hold tight.
Put your masks on.
Yeah.
Here comes Miley.
There we go.
To me, all you're doing is you're padding statistics. You know, you're putting people on that have COVID-19. If they didn't have it, you're making the death rate for New York City a lot higher than it should be.
To be honest with you, all of the death certificates, they're writing COVID on all of the death certificates, whether they had a positive test, whether they didn't. So I think, you know, again, this is my personal opinion. I think, like the mayor in our city, they're looking for federal funding, and the more they put COVID on a death certificate, the more they can ask for federal funds. So I think it's political.
I had one that was autopsy because it was furious. And apparently, and I don't know who the Supreme Court Justice is, but the Supreme Court Justice was related to this family. And she says, I know my sister didn't die of COVID-19. She said she had Alzheimer's and they didn't suction her. You have to suction because they forget how to swallow. And right away they put down COVID-19 on her death certificate, and this Supreme Court Justice, whoever it is, contacted the hospital. They did an independent autopsy. Bingo, no COVID-19.
We know there are many unanswered questions during this pandemic. We've been out in the street talking to some folks who are on the front lines, talking to the unsung heroes of the people of New York City, people, for example, in funeral homes. And we've talked to these unsung heroes, and we've discovered some troubling things, some things that should disturb us. This will just be part one of an ongoing investigation into fraud, waste, abuse, corruption in COVID.
To be honest with you, all of the death certificates, they're writing COVID on all of the death certificates, whether they had a positive test, whether they didn't. So I think, you know, again, this is my personal opinion. I think, like the mayor in our city, they're looking for federal funding, and the more they put COVID on a death certificate, the more they can ask for federal funds. So I think it's political. So I'm going to turn around and say, you know, like not everybody that we have here that has COVID on a death certificate died of COVID. Can I prove that? No, but that is my suspicion.
So you think that they're just putting it on everyone who's dying?
They're putting it on everybody's death certificate to make life easier for them, because like the causes of death get proved right away. If you write COVID, I mean, listen, they're just pushing things out because they're overwhelmed, and it's just easier to write COVID on everything. That's my opinion.
So this isn't like, we're not the first case of this happening.
Oh, absolutely not.
How often do you think this is happening?
Quite a lot. Quite a lot.
So you've seen like...
I couldn't give you a number, but quite a lot.
Okay. So you've seen other families at your funeral home?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've seen causes. I've seen people, you know, say COVID in families and somebody never tested. We don't know, and they're writing it anyway. Because if you know what, the law allows them, like if it's in their medical opinion, it allows them to write it. So they don't even have to prove it.
So do you think that they're doing it to help the mayor, or?
No, I think they're doing it to help the mayor. I think the mayor is ordering it from down, because the more deaths that they report from COVID, the more money they can go and ask the federal government for. They put 100 COVIDs, I'm going to tell you all 100 people didn't have COVID. How can I tell you what percentage? No, but I can tell you this is what they're doing.
And they're not even testing these people for COVID.
They're not even testing these people. If the doctor thinks you had COVID, he's allowed to write it down. Listen, you asked the question, I'm going to give you the answer. I'm sorry if the answer may not be what you want to hear, but I'll apologize for that. I'm not going to lie to people.
Mike Lanza was not the only funeral director we heard this story from. His observations were shared by many.
All putting COVID on a lot of death certificates because people that are going to their hospital, any kind of respiratory distress, respiratory problems,
pneumonia, the flu. The flu-like symptoms lead into the COVID-19.
Sure.
So, it's hard for them to put their finger on it.
So just to be safe, or what does it matter? I guess that's my confusion, is if he dies, he's got a heart condition, but they're going to say...
For me, all you're doing is you're padding statistics. You're putting people on that have COVID-19. If they didn't have it, you're making the death rate for New York City a lot higher than it should be. A lot of people have been dying at home. Okay? And the problem is the medical examiner, if you had a private doctor, the medical examiner would speak to the private doctor over the phone, clear it up, bing, bang, it's all done. But now if you don't have a private doctor and you are on any medical care, they're automatically putting down on the death certificate COVID-19 because they don't want to go. They're so overwhelmed, A, and B, they're not going out to houses anymore. They would go out to the house. They would investigate the scene. They would do some, testing at the scene and then come up with a conclusion as to he had heart disease. But now they're putting everything as COVID-19. So they're padding the numbers that are making it look like, yes, we do have a lot of deaths. I'm not going to say we have been overwhelmed with them. But you still have to say how many of them are actually COVID-19, or are the ME just putting it because they don't want to go to the scene?
Okay. Because my sister was, she was.
I had a 40-year-old man that died in his house. Okay, they didn't even go to the house. The guy had no underlying causes, no medical conditions. They released him from the house without even going, saying he had COVID-19 because he had a fever. But now, how do you know that's what he had? You don't. But now your death certificate shows he had COVID-19. Guy that I just buried, I just came back a little while ago from Long Island National Cemetery. When they called me from the nursing home, I said, did Raymond have COVID-19? He said, oh no, it was very to drive, but we're assuming they all have it. Well, why didn't you assume that when they're all in the hospital? She had no answer. I can't answer you, she said. They put down on Raymond's death certificate, he didn't have COVID-19.
Wow. Oh my, who's this woman?
I was at a nursing hospital in Dutchess County.
Wow. And they're just assuming just because...
Because a couple of people had it, so everybody has it now.
I just wonder what the point of that is.
I know, but, there's no way to prove it because if they put it down and the person was not autopsied, you don't know. I had one that was autopsied because the sister was furious. And apparently, and I don't know who the Supreme Court Justice is, but the Supreme Court Justice was related to this family. And she says, I know my sister didn't die of COVID-19. She said she had Alzheimer's and they didn't suction her. You have to suction because they forget how to swallow. And right away they put down COVID-19 on her death certificate, and this Supreme Court Justice, whoever it is, contacted the hospital. They did an independent autopsy. Bingo, no COVID-19.
Okay, so this is a case where someone was said to have had it, and then afterwards they checked, no COVID-19.
Because the sister refused to believe that her sister had COVID-19, and like I said, she was the one who said to me, she says, well, my cousin is, Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, and I'm going to contact, and we're going to get an autopsy, and you do what you got to do, And she did what she has to do, and sure enough, I called her, and I said, the doctor signed the death certificate, did the autopsy, no COVID-19.
So this guy made like a special call for the autopsy. Chief Supreme Court Justice guy. Wow.
Basically, every certificate that comes across our desk now has COVID on it. Even if people aren't tested, if they have a cough, if they have a flu symptom, it's basically considered COVID.
If you work in a hospital or the government and you've witnessed something troubling, we want you to contact us securely at veritastips@protonmail.com. We want to know about any fraud or corruption that may be going on, and we will protect your identity. So contact us. We need you, and your country needs you.
Okay, that was a video by Project Veritas. I'm going to share the link for that with you all right now while I stop sharing the screen. And I'd like Noel and Double to fire away with the response. I mean, what do you say? What do you make of all that?
It's nothing I didn't already suspect
or
say without any evidence quite some time ago.
Coming forward, though, to hear more coming forward.
Everyone else isn't going to die of anything other than this. They're just going to be like, COVID. Yeah, I don't have anything to say. What we've been saying all along, right?
That is pretty much what.
Are you hearing anything like this out of the UK by any chance?
Hmm?
Are you hearing anything like this out of the UK?
Oh, this is the thing. You'd think I'm in London and I'd be able to, but it's almost like I can find information about other countries more so about than our own. The one thing
I mean, it sort of makes sense. I mean, I live in Malta and I never get anything about Malta shared with me. It's like, whatever's going on, they don't want you to talk about you. You can talk about other countries, just don't talk about your own.
I don't know anything about Tenerife, really.
I'm glad you guys have brought up this whole own country thing, because you said you got a text, you got word from Josie today about Spain, didn't you? You did something with Alfie today, didn't you? You could have got in trouble, Rich.
On Saturday, no, it goes into effect on Saturday, she said. So it's going to be on Saturday. There you have time slots that you can go out.
And it was between 6 and 10 or something? What?
Between 6 and 10 in the morning, and between 8 and 11 at night or something. We're allowed to go out. I'm allowed to go out for a walk with Alfie.
It's not very long, is it? The time.
It's, what is that? 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 4 hours in the morning and 3 hours in the afternoon. Evening. After sunset. After the sun's gone down, you can go out and walk at night. So, I mean, if you think about it, that's women going out. You know, you've got two times you can go out. You can either go out early in the morning, or you can go out at night when it's dark. It's not very nice for women, is it?
No, it's not.
Especially if you haven't got somebody to chaperone you.
Yeah, I agree with you in the chat room. I'm just not sure what time we need to stand up, if you know what I mean. And with us talking about our own countries, retrospectively, the ones that we're in anyway, I did get word from Boris today. I did see word on Downing Street. So I want to listen. I know that a lot of you might not be interested in this. Okay, but I really want to show this for context, because this is what we're being told. Read between the lines if you want. Said this to you as well, Rich, and I thank you all for entertaining the fact that I do this. And it's literally 10 minutes, and some of you can go and make a cup of tea if you're not interested, or just mute it if you're not interested, honestly. But I'm going to share the screen and I'm going to show you this now. Pay attention to how this guy is breathing when he's talking. So, anyway, I say no more. Let me be quiet.
Good afternoon. Welcome everyone again to this number 10 press conference, where I'm joined by Professor Chris Whitty, Chief Medical Officer, and Sir Patrick Vallance, our Chief Scientific Advisor. And I'm sorry not to have been part of this trio for so long. I want to thank everybody who's been doing such a good job in my absence, and I want to thank the NHS for so much, including getting me back here, and I might add, for a much happier hospital visit yesterday. In a few minutes, I'm going to hand over to Patrick and to update you on the epidemic, but first I'm going to set out today's latest data. 901,905 tests for coronavirus have now been carried out in the UK, including 81,611 tests yesterday. 171,253 people have tested positive. That's an increase of 6,032 cases since yesterday. 15,043 people are currently in hospital with coronavirus, compared to 15,359 people yesterday. And sadly, of those tested positive for coronavirus across all settings, 26,711 have now died. That's an increase of 674 fatalities since yesterday across all settings. This figure, of course, includes deaths, not just in hospitals. Across this country, therefore, families every day are continuing to lose loved ones before their time. We grieve for them and with them. But as we grieve, we are strengthened in our resolve to defeat this virus, to get this whole country back to health, back on its feet. And we're determined, urgently and in particular, to overcome those challenges that in the last few weeks have been so knotty and so infuriating. I'm not going to minimize the logistical problems we have faced in getting the right protective gear to the right people at the right time, both in the NHS and in care homes, or the frustrations that we've experienced in expanding the numbers of tests. But what I can tell you is that everyone responsible for tackling these problems, whether in government or the NHS or Public Health England, local authorities, we are throwing everything at it, heart and soul, night and day, to get it right. And we will get it right, and we're making huge progress. And I will not underrate the work and the achievement of those who are dealing with global shortages in a global pandemic. They are rising to a challenge we have never seen in our lifetimes. And the same can be said of the entire people of this country, staying in enforced confinement, not seeing family, not seeing friends or grandchildren, worrying about their jobs and the future. And so my message to everyone again today is your effort and your sacrifice is working and has been proved to work. Today, the number of COVID hospital admissions is falling. The number of patients in ICU is falling. We've so far succeeded in the first and most important task we set ourselves as a nation, to avoid the tragedy that engulfed other parts of the world. Because at no stage has our NHS been overwhelmed. No patient went without a ventilator. No patient was deprived of intensive care. We have 5 of the 7 projected Nightingale wards. And it's thanks to that massive collective effort to shield the NHS that we avoided an uncontrollable and catastrophic epidemic where the reasonable worst case scenario was 500,000 deaths. And so I can confirm today that for the first time, we are past the peak of this disease. We're past the peak and we're on the downward slope. And we have so many reasons to be hopeful for the long term. The UK is leading international efforts to find a vaccine. Today, Oxford University has announced a partnership with AstraZeneca to develop what they believe could soon be a means of inoculating ourselves against this disease. But until this day comes, and I'm afraid we cannot say exactly when it may be, we're going to have to beat this disease by our growing resolve and ingenuity. So I will be setting out a comprehensive plan next week to explain how we can get our economy moving, one, how we can get our children back to school, back into childcare, second, and third, how we can travel to work, and how we can make life in the workplace safer. And in short, how we can continue to suppress the disease and at the same time restart the economy. A huge amount of work has been going on that plan. And of course, as we produce it, we are being guided by the science, and we will try to build the maximum political consensus as we produce it across all parties and across the UK. But there will be 5 key tests that we must satisfy before we can put that plan into action. We must be sure that we can continue to protect the NHS and its ability to cope. Number 2, we must see a sustained fall in deaths. 3, we must be sure that the infection rate is falling. 4, we've got to overcome the operational and logistical challenges on testing and PPE. 5th, and this is the most important, we must all make sure that the measures we take do not risk a second spike that would overwhelm the NHS. We've come through the peak, or rather, we've come under what could have been a vast peak, as though we've been going through some huge alpine tunnel. And we can now see the sunlight and the pasture ahead of us. And so it is vital that we do not now lose control and run slap into a second and even bigger mountain. And so to avoid that disaster, our 5th and final test is that nothing, as I say, we do should lift the R, or the reproduction rate of that disease, back above 1. And before I hand over to Patrick, I'm going to ask for a short explanatory clip about the 1. And before we come to that clip, let me just emphasize, keeping the R down is going to be absolutely vital to our recovery, keeping the reproduction rate of the disease down. And we can only do it by our collective discipline and working together. I know we can do it because we did it. We've shown we can do it in phase 1 of this disease. This country came together in a way few of us have seen in our lifetimes to protect the NHS and to save lives. And that's why I'm absolutely convinced we can do it in phase 2 as well. Can we play the video now?
The government has set out 5 tests that must be met before we begin to adjust social distancing measures. One of the most important tests is the rate of infection. We have to make sure this is decreasing. All viruses, like normal flu, have a rate of infection. Scientists call this R. R is the average number of people one infected person passes a virus onto. To beat coronavirus, we need to keep R as low as we possibly can. Imagine 100 people are all infected. If R is more than 1, then those 100 people will infect more than 100 people, and in turn, they will infect even more. The virus is spreading quickly. If R is less than 1, those 100 people will infect fewer than 100 people, and in turn, they will infect even fewer. The rate of infection is slowing down and coming under control. Scientists around the world have been tracking the R of coronavirus since the start of the outbreak. In March, at its peak, R was around 3, which seems to be the natural rate for this virus. Since then, thanks to you and the social distancing measures you followed, we've been able to reduce R, and it is now below 1. But we've only just passed the peak of the virus, and it's vital R stays below 1. Over the coming weeks and months, the government will be monitoring R very carefully. It will be a key factor in how social distancing measures are used in the future.
Good. Well, I hope that was clear and.
What sound does the letter R make? What sound does R make?
Today will be brought to you by the letter R. Yeah, so that's our
So hang
first
on,
communication.
they're flattening the curve, and now they're taking the R value as well.
Yeah, shout out to Levant. It says this is the last chance for the sheep to wake up over the next few weeks. I think this is the last chance for muggles to wake up. And I think that maybe the final task might be left to we the people. No? Rich, I really feel like that's maybe where it is. I can visualize myself possibly at Speaker's Corner around October, because people have had enough of this by then. I think that's when the civil unrest is going to start happening, around October, November, when people realise life isn't going to go back to the normal that they thought it was going to go back to. And then people will go, I've had enough of this. And then that'll be when things start to get tightened a little bit, I think. Like I said before, certain arrests, like Adam said, once you start seeing certain arrests happening, there's no going back then.
And I'm not going to lie to you, man. I'm getting rapidly to the end of my tether with, like, as long as I don't hear any of these nonces chatting was like they just did, then
we don't have to get, we don't have to get, you know, yeah, I get where you're coming from, because there's only so much we can take of people that generally
treated like an idiot.
Well,
it's offending me.
The counterparts that we've just watched for the last 3 weeks, they've all literally, literally, and I'm hearing things there, but I'm not, you know, a lot of people go, oh yeah, have you heard? Boris is going to get everything back on track next week. And I don't know what I heard there. I heard a lot of waffle. I heard a lot of because nothing's changed. You going back to work yet, Rich?
Do you know what? It's funny you should ask me that.
Oh, good.
My boss messaged me today.
Oh, did he? Really? Yeah. Well, that's good. Oh, well, you know what? Thank you to everybody that's been out on the streets, and thank you to everybody that has been doing, you know, protests and making sure that, you know, this stops tomorrow, because apparently Richard's got a message from his boss. So that can only mean one thing, guys. That can mean gigs tomorrow.
Let's see. What did he say? He said, hi, mate. How you doing?
Yeah.
I'm okay, mate.
Good.
And I sent him the link to this stream.
Lovely.
I'm doing this every day. I'm doing a 2-hour gig every lunchtime. Keeping busy. How are you? He said, we're fine. Dying to wake up from this nightmare. And I said, I think it's going to be a while yet, mate. He said, have you got any income? And I said, well, watch my show. Not really, but my subscribers have been helping me out. And I've managed to pay my rent thanks to them. And he asked me if I've applied for the emergency check. And I said, no, I don't think I'll get it because I've fallen underneath the threshold. And said, it's for people that didn't have any legal income in March and they're still not getting anything. You don't pay Social Security, do you? I said, no. So have you got an NIE? Yeah. He said, I can try and ring tomorrow for you if you want. You've got nothing to lose. We haven't got anything yet, but it's not enough to even pay our bills. Take care, mate. Hopefully see you sooner rather than later. And let me know if you want me to ring this place.
Oh, shout out to your guy. I was kind of hoping he was going to say, Rich, I've had word, the government's had a word with us all, and frick, man.
No, the only positive news that I've had.
Right, sorry, I was really naive to think that.
Today came from Jodie today in the comment that said, that there's 2 times during the day when we can go out, and I only say positive because I think that we can go out twice a day, whereas before you could only go out once a day. Now you can go out twice a day, and you can go for a walk. You can go and exercise.
You can get some kind of.
We've been allowed to go out and exercise, so it has lifted slightly. Slightly.
What about you, Noel? How's your movement been affected? What about the hotel over the street? Are you seeing the lights on? Is there any action? Do they look like they're getting ready back for business?
No, hotel's still closed. Lots of the shops are still closed. Quite a few restaurants and bars I saw were kind of open in that they're doing takeaway. I saw 3 or 4 today that I went to that were kind of open. You know, one member of staff just doing taking orders, and then maybe someone in the kitchen producing some food, and then maybe someone else doing the takeaway part.
Mind boggles.
Ticking over, I guess, just, you know, keeping up with what they can.
Yeah.
Some of them have been like one I do some work with sometimes donated a lot of stuff to the hospital. They've been donating meals to the hospital.
I just feel like, what is it going to take to make this situation go back to whatever normal is productive normal? If you understand where I'm coming from.
More people need to wake up. A lot more people. I mean, we've got a lot, but we still don't have enough. We need critical mass. We need, you know, more than 50% of the people to figure out that there's some nonsense going on. We need to say we're not going back to work until you fix this. Like when they try to fake us out that it's all going back to normal. Like, hang on, no, we know this is going to come again next year. You're just going to give us a taste. Let us know what we're missing, and then.
I've just got to double check and see if this is what I think it is. Okay, so
I'm not gonna, because at the moment what they're talking about is, even if they let us out again, there's going to be these strict social distancing, this social distancing protocol that's still going to exist, where they're talking about you're not allowed to shake hands, you're not allowed to hug, you won't be allowed to gather in groups larger than, you know, whatever. They're actually making us less human. It's like they're trying to make us less human and repress all of the affectionate, you know, loving side of us, where we embrace each other, and, you know, they're going to say no, none of that. No more embracing each other, no more cuddling, no more hugging, and, you know, and shaking hands and stuff. And that's all based around the fact that this pandemic might be real. And when we all know what we know, how I'm not going to stand for that. I'm not going to stand for that.
So can I show you what's going on in Michigan? I've seen a post uploaded about an hour ago, and I can neither confirm nor deny, so I'm just going to show you what I can see, right? And this will be the last thing that I show this evening, and we'll see if we can get any more verification on this. So I can't confirm the gunman myself, but I'll show you this. I don't see any gunmen in there. I do not see any gunmen in there.
I don't know what they're saying.
They're saying this is the people's house. You can't kick us out. This is the people's house.
Right.
Basically, you know, they're saying you're supposed to be here for us. You're supposed to be here for us. So I will give you some more information on that as we go through the week next week. As I said, that was just something I wanted to finish off because that seems to be the state of play.
Did you say you didn't? Did you say you didn't see a gunman?
Did you see a gunman?
Gunman.
Yeah, mainstream media are reporting that there is gunmen in there. I didn't see any.
No,
I'm just letting you know.
Do you know what I saw?
Mm-hmm.
I saw a patriot with an American flag around his shoulders, and and he might have been. If that's an open carry state, if that is an open carry state, he probably was carrying a gun.
Yeah, fair enough. But like I said, I wasn't seeing
within his rights to do so. Perfectly within his rights to do so. If that's again an open carry state, where is that? Where is that? What state is that?
Michigan.
What state is it?
Michigan.
Is Michigan open carry?
Hmm?
Is Michigan open carry?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. And behind the scenes, I'm dealing with some extremely difficult things behind the scenes. It's like someone's definitely trying to infiltrate my stream. I've got someone in the studio that's trying to get into the stream and completely take over the stream. First time ever.
Really?
Yep.
Who is it?
No idea. I've no idea. There's no name there. There's absolutely no name there. But I can.
Oh, really?
I can see. Yeah.
Hello.
So I'm gonna.
Can you see us?
Yeah, they can.
Can you
They
see
can't
us?
get them, unfortunately,
Are you trying hard?
they're really pissed off because they
Stop
can't get
touching
in.
yourself.
Yeah.
Stop touching yourself. It's disgusting.
Whoever you are, you literally
Stop
just
it. Whoever you are, seriously, we will find you.
Yeah. Now I've got a picture of you. I'm going to ban you from the studio.
It's not Steve Murray or someone else you shared with.
You got a picture? Have you got a picture?
Sorry?
Send it to me if you got.
Oh no, no, it was just a gratuitous name about me. You know, Roxanne, you know.
Oh, okay.
So that's a first. That's an absolute first. So
Steps up to a new level.
Yeah. Oh, look, they're back. Oh, look, we can do this all night. There's nothing. Yeah, come out yourself. Come out yourself. That's good. You come out yourself. So you guys have it's so funny. It's literally, oh look, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna do this. Look. Let's share the screen. And look, you can see them. Look. Oh, look. Roxanne sucks something. Bless them.
Where is it?
Can you see that little grey box? Oh,
I can.
Oh, look, they've gone. Oh, look, they just realised. Oh, look, they got put on blast. Oh, you can't get into the stream. You actually can't control my stream.
You can't do anything.
You're proper pissed. You can't control the stream. You can keep coming in and trying everything you're doing, but it's not happening. Done. On that note, thank you so much for tuning into the Really Woke Show. We will be back on your screens, same time, same place tomorrow, 9:30 p.m. GMT with myself, 007, with a bit of luck, Noel Harry Watson, and Adam Meakin. Thank you so much for joining us. Honestly, big hugs to you all. Rich is frozen. Noel, you're still there. The grabbling is insane right now. I can see them flashing in and out of the studio like, bah, bah, bah. I'm gonna get in. I'm gonna get in. I'm gonna get in. So with that, good night, everybody.